Good morning, or almost afternoon.
Hello, everybody.
I don't know what country you're in, but all over, I think.
Okay, let's just me first. I'm here just to say a quick hello to everybody, and a very special thank you to Rinat that is organizing all of this. It's a great job that you're doing to keep the macrobiotic dream and the macrobiotic alive. First, I'd like to introduce my wife as well. Some of you may have heard about Maria. I've got the privilege of being married to this lady for 30 years and eating her food, and it's really, truly awesome. So I hope that you have a wonderful time with my wife. Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
So I'm going to leave you now, and I hope that you have a great cooking session.
Okay, so hello everybody. I call this Nourishing the Feminine, which is for everybody, because the life now is very fast. You know, computers, flying around, cars, well actually not so much at the moment because of lockdowns, but anyway, the stress of all the COVID and everything, I think, is another reason that we need to bring relaxation into our cooking. So I'm going to start off with the soup. It's a mixture of sweet vegetables. You can see here an example of some sweet vegetables.
Can you move the, yeah, that's great. Joa's doing the camera, thank you.
Okay, great. So I'm going to use this big pot because I'm cooking for about 8 people today, the people working in the school. Can you see me? Can you see the clearly? Yeah. So we're going to start with an onion. This is a sweet vegetable. Sweet vegetables, all of them create a relaxation of the, especially the digestion. And so we're going to start with an onion. We're going to lightly saute this with a little bit of olive oil and water. It makes it less stressful if you use a little bit of water. When you use very hot fire, it's a little bit more active, a bit more stressful, which you might want sometimes. But I want to make everything today a bit more, have a relaxing quality, which if any of you know about yin and yang is more on the inside. Is everybody unmuted, Vinat, or is it interactive?
No, so everyone is muted, and if you would like to invite them to unmute themselves for a question, or they could write in the chat and then I could interject at appropriate moments.
Okay,
Usually
well,
people write their questions in the chat so that you don't lose your train of thought. So I invite everyone to write down your questions in the chat, and I'll interrupt occasionally and ask the question.
they ask the questions because the screen's quite far away. So
Ruth Sager, did you have a question? Anyway, whoever does, please just write it in the chat and then I'll ask it for you.
Oh, you're going to ask it then. Okay, so I'm dicing 1 onion and I've got the pan warming up with a little bit of water and a little bit of oil. Just like that.
So I've never seen that, to mix oil and water.
Yeah. It's a kind of, it's actually Mediterranean style.
Oh.
My mum was Italian, and it's a style they use quite often over there. So just cook the onions for a minute or so by themselves, just to let the sulfur quality of the onion, because we want to bring out the sweet taste. And if we put a little bit of salt as well, that helps the water to release from the onion. It's not very hard. Maybe I'll do it on this one.
Maria, is that your home? Are you in your home kitchen?
Cooking school.
Uh-huh.
We haven't been able to use it yet very much because
Yeah.
I think we had one class and then everything had to close. But we've been doing some things online. So that's blocking. Yeah.
So you're making a sweet vegetable soup right now, is that right?
Yeah. So I'm going to use one onion and I've got some pumpkin here. I'm taking out the centre bit, the seeds. You can save those and toast them in the oven if you've got time. Can you see me, what I'm doing?
Yes.
This pan's quite big here. Maybe I'll put it
No,
over.
it's good. We're good. We're good.
It's just this flame.
Yeah, you can leave it. It's okay.
Still getting used to this cooker. Doesn't want to do that one. I'll put it on this one. Can you see inside the pot?
No.
No. I thought that was.
No.
We couldn't connect it.
I thought that's what the camera was ready to
Yeah,
do.
that wasn't connecting there, so we couldn't do it. Okay, do you want me to show it inside for you?
Yeah. So, because we haven't got a lot of time, I've pre-cooked some pumpkin, but I'm going to show you this one, and then I'm going to put the other. Can everybody get pumpkins where they live?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can get them very easily here.
Is pumpkin also squash?
Yeah.
Is it interchangeable? Yeah.
This is, you can use butternut squash, but if you use butternut squash, you take the skins off. I think they're a little bit bitter. I'm not sure. And sometimes the skins at certain times of year, like in the autumn, not in the autumn, in the spring, the winter pumpkins the skins get a bit harder, so you might have to take them off. But these are okay. If you can put your nail into it, then it's okay. So I'm going to add more water now to cover the level of the vegetables. Have you been able to show that? No? I've got Anna helping me here, trying to show you inside.
Could you bring the pot a little bit closer so I can?
Pardon?
The pot a little bit closer, yeah.
Move it here.
Yeah.
Oh, very good.
Ah, yes, that's what we want.
Very good.
Okay, so now we've cooked it a little bit, and that's got rid of the bitterness from the onion. We can put the lid on, and we're going to put a piece of kombu sea vegetable. I'm just going to quickly rinse that. We don't really want the surface salt. So, what's the advantage of sweetness? Sweet vegetable soup, I like to use them at least a few times a week because they help to stop craving other sweet things like sugar. So, oh, that's not on. No, that one. Why does the flares keep going out? The gas ready? No. I think it's okay. Okay, so let's put the lid on there now for a while. I'm cooking for 8 people, so I've got a big pot of pumpkin already cooked here. So I'm going to add that in a minute. While that's cooking, I'm going to prepare some polenta. I don't know if that fire is on. Oh. No, I haven't used this kitchen very much, so it's on now. Good. So polenta, another Italian origins. We used to have it for lunch a lot when I was a kid, and we would have it with a little bit of either grated cheese or butter. But I don't use those very often now, so we're going to have it with tofu cheese. Okay. We've got 1 cup of polenta flour, which is basically corn. And the corn also has got a sweet taste. And I'm going to put 5 cups of water to that 1 cup of polenta. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Is it 40 minutes we've got to cook dinner?
Just under, just about.
Okay, so this is 5 cups. Okay, so we wait. That's gone off again. I'm going to do a different fire. So we wait until the water's boiling, and then we add the polenta flour. Okay, I'm not pressure cooking. These are the best pots really for the size of cooking I'm doing today. I'm going to add this cooked pumpkin to the pot. Yeah. So that's enough for about 8 people, which I think today. So I'm going to add a bit more salt to the soup. I'm not using miso or shoyu in this. I find with the pumpkin soup or a sweet soup, if you just use salt, it brings more of the sweet taste. If you use miso and shoyu, you get the flavors from the miso and shoyu, which sometimes you want, but if you're mainly wanting the sweet taste, then I'll just use a little bit of salt. Yeah. So we've got to wait for the water to boil on there. Very low flame. Okay. Also, in the soup, I like to use sweet potato. So, because pumpkins are not always that sweet at the moment. And you're using sweet potato, you need to take off the skin.
Why is that?
Because when you cream it, the skins will give it more of a texture. It'll be more fibrous. So how's the, can you see what I'm doing? Just quickly do that. Oh, and also I've got chickpeas to put into the soup. The chickpeas, or any, you can use any beans, just give it a bit more richness, a bit more filling. But sometimes I like it, depends what else you've got in the meal, but if you've got a light protein like tofu, it's quite nice to have a little bit of beans in your soup, or lentils.
In other words, two proteins, the tofu and the bean.
Yes.
Mhm.
And I find actually, if you're cooking for men, which I am every day, having the two proteins, they find the food more satisfying. Okay, just chop these. It doesn't matter how you chop it particularly, but just slices. So it's about the same size as the pumpkin. Oh, that's boiling now, good. Any questions?
Why are you doing the sweet potato only after the squash is already quite cooked?
It's on the top and it'll cook very quickly. Because I forgot about it, that's why. And I'm going to, chickpeas already cooked, they'll go on the top. And then
And someone else, go ahead.
Blend it, it'll all get mixed together.
Someone else says you could put the skins in the freezer as scraps for a broth
The skins,
of the sweet potato.
good, you could use them for a broth, yeah. Stock, do they mean? Sometimes I do. I like to make stocks, but not particularly for this soup, this kind of soup, more of a show you broth type soup. This fire doesn't work very well, Shmuel. You need to get something. Okay, so I'm waiting for the water to boil for the polenta. So what shall we do now? Okay, I've got to, while I'm waiting for that, I'm going to get a blanch salad ready. Because I've got that ready to go. Can you see it in there? Because that pot's in the way there. I'm going to move this one. Juggling the pots around. So I've got boiling water here to do a blanch salad. So I've got some root vegetables already chopped because we're lots of people. But I'm going to show you one piece of broccoli and one carrot. So I'm cutting the carrot this way. You can do many different ways, but I want it to be oblongs today for this dish, just to get a variety of shapes, as you can see. So cut them thin, because for a blanch salad, you want them to cook very quickly, less than 1 minute. Have one of these ready to take the vegetables out. Put a pinch of salt in there. Again, it brings out the sweet taste. So I'm going to put the carrots first.
So I have a question about the soup.
Yeah.
You rinsed off the kombu and put it in, and then you added salt. And the reason you rinsed the kombu was not to have the salt. So is it redundant? Could you have done one or the other?
The kombu, what you get in the packet, yes, they've pulled it out of the sea and dried it. So it's not necessarily that clean. There may be grit or something, or shells. I mean, that one, it was quite clean actually, but just to give it a quick rinse is good. Right, so can you see these vegetables are here, and we're going to cook them for less than 1 minute. If you cook them longer, then it's not a blanch salad. It's just boiled vegetables. So where am I going to put them? I'm going to put them here. Once they're cooked, I'm going to put them here. I think it's been 1 minute yet.
Just
1 minute.
about.
It's about a minute. Yeah, I think that's long enough. So just drain the water off as much as you can. So this is very relaxing and refreshing way to eat vegetables. Very good for the relaxation and yin quality. So I'm going to do some broccoli now. Just cut through the stem, not right through because you'll break the flowers, but just about halfway down. Like this. Can you see that? What I'm doing? So you use the point. Once you've cut through halfway, then you use the point of the knife. Okay. And I've got a bit extra for the people here. I'm going to put a little bit of Chinese cabbage in there. Very refreshing, crunchy veg. As much as you like, but that's probably enough for us. And I've also got some watercress, which I'm going to quickly blanch as well, the salad. Blanch salad. Some people call it boiled salad. That one. Have a look at the soup, how that's doing. Oh no. So that's simmering away nicely. So as soon as the broccoli is done, I'm going to do the polenta. Because it's boiling away now. Needs to come to a boil.
And did you salt that water, Maria, for the blanched vegetables?
A pinch.
A pinch of salt.
Just a pinch. Lots of things we put just a pinch in the grains, in desserts. The soup's got much more than a pinch. It's got maybe around a teaspoon altogether. Chinese cabbage cooks very quick, so you don't have to cut it too small. Actually, maybe I can bring this one here. That's not enough. Okay, I'm just going to leave that for a second and finish the polenta. The water's boiling now. There's the polenta flour, and you need to stir it all the time. Again, a pinch of salt in there. All the grains, we use a pinch of salt. Does anybody know why? Why do we use a pinch of salt in grains? Any grains, rice, barley, millet, polenta, buckwheat. We always have a pinch of salt. Nobody know? Anybody got any idea? Because grains contain, oh, that's fantastic. Wow. Grains contain an acid. A slight acid, and when you soak them, that helps to neutralize the acid, and also by chewing, that helps to neutralize the acid, and then you convert them, and actually they become alkaline in your system. Okay, so that's
so you got answers for the balance of sodium and I guess potassium, or to make it more digestible is another idea, possibility.
Yes, because acid is not really that digestible. So, well, animal foods have a lot of acid. And, you have to put a lot of salt with it. Okay, so polenta's basically ready. This is a very quick polenta. It's a 5-minute one. So I'm just putting the lid on, and I put a flame tamer, and I'm just going to let it sit there until we're ready. And I'm going to continue with the boiled salad. So some Chinese cabbage. This can go in very quick, maybe even much less than a minute, because it's very soft and crispy.
So for the polenta, Maria, is it a very fine flour or is it a little more gritty, the polenta?
This one it's not quite a flour. It's kind of on the way, but it's not corn flour. You can't make polenta with corn flour. I can show you the packet if you like.
Okay.
It looks like. So it's kind of a fine grit. Can you see that? Oh, sure. Yeah. Can you see that?
Yeah.
I think most countries have polenta now. It used to be mostly Italian, but I think you can get it everywhere. So cabbage is ready. And last, we're going to put watercress. Big bunch of watercress, and it's literally going in and out. You could have it raw if you wanted, but it's nice just nice, just quickly blanched. packet, this one. Okay, so that's enough for the watercress. We'll take it out now. We don't want to overcook it. Okay. Just dropped a bit of watercress there. So you can use that water in the soup if you like. But I'm not going to put it in the sweet one. And we've got plenty of water in there already. So. Okay. Now we're going to, with the blanched salad, we're going to have tofu cheese. Here's the tofu. Just a second, I need to wipe my bowl.
Someone is asking for the blanched salad. Would it be a good idea to put each vegetable in a strainer before mixing it together to get more water out?
Yeah, you could do. But when you use that filter,
The spoon, yeah.
There's not really much water in there. The main thing we want now is just to let it cool. It's not all clumped together too much. I'm going to put that over there. Okay, you can see it's very fresh and relaxing. What's that? What's it called? Cabbage. Okay. So the tofu cheese. Depending on the time of year and your condition, a bit of raw tofu is quite good. Especially people that feel the heat a lot in the summer. I'm going to mash this up with omaboshi vinegar. I'm doing 3 blocks here, which is a lot. You know, a normal family size, you would probably put 1 block's probably enough. So just mash it up like this, and it looks like cottage cheese. So you can, it's up to you how much you mash it. You might like it chunky, you might like it really smooth, in which case you would blend it, but that'd be more of a cream. So for more like a cheese, we want it a bit chunky, crumbly. And then you can always taste a little bit and see if it's got enough omaboshi vinegar. Everybody know omaboshi vinegar? I don't know if people are new to macrobiotic cooking. You know, Gillott?
Yeah, you better assume that there are new people. And also, for example, here in Israel, we don't get it anymore.
Oh, you don't get omaboshi vinegar?
No, used to.
Can you get omaboshis?
Yes.
And can you get omaboshi puree?
I think so, yeah.
You can always use that. The other thing you can use, if you can't get omaboshi vinegar, you can use olives. Chopped olives.
We got a lot of olives. Someone's asking, were the orange slices at the bottom of the blanched salad slices of butternut squash?
No, they're carrot. Okay, I'm just going to taste a little bit of that just to see if it's tasty enough for my guests today that are coming to eat. That's good. A drop more, a little drop more. That's it. Um, so that's ready. When you want to serve, you just you take some of the salad like this. I'm going to let people help themselves. So they've got, and then you just put some of this tofu on top like this.
So the tofu is with umeboshi vinegar, is that right?
Pardon?
The tofu is mixed with umeboshi vinegar, with umesu? Is that correct? Yeah.
Vinegar, yeah. Here. Just cooking. So we just have to blend the soup, but first I'm going to show you a pesto. I was going to put sun-dried tomatoes, but I decided that it was going to take too much time. Quite quick today. I mean, I don't mind taking time. I know a lot of people complain about the time of the cooking, but for me, I used to paint pictures and make sculptures, and to me, this is doing the same thing. And then it's so colourful, and then you can eat it. So it's okay. So this is parsley here.
Let me just ask you, someone is asking, is it tofu cheese or just tofu? I'm not quite sure what that question.
It's just tofu with umeboshi vinegar. That's what the vinegar is.
And is the focus fresh as opposed to cooked? Someone is asking.
What?
I don't think so. The question is, is the focus fresh food or cooked?
So
She's been cooking everything here.
fresh.
The tofu, is the tofu fresh or cooked? The tofu is raw.
Raw. It's raw.
Yeah, and then mixed with the vinegar.
In the past, you never heard of people eating raw tofu, but I've been studying with a man called Denny Waxman, and he recommended it to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I never would have thought it, because I was thought, it's too yin, I can't eat raw tofu. But he said I've got too yang, so experimenting with it. And,
that's very good thinking. It's very open mind.
in any way, if you have ever made tofu from scratch, you know that it's cooked already. Because you have to boil up the beans and then you strain off the milk. So it's actually cooked. It's not even not actually raw at all. Okay, so the parsley, chop it a little bit like with a knife, and then this is the pesto, by the way. And then I've got one of these that helps to chop it up very fine. It's a parsley chopper. My daughter's bought it me for a present one year. It's good if you've got a lot of people, you know, and you want to cut up the parsley for lots of people. If it's just one or two, you might not want to bother. So for the pesto, we're going to have parsley, raw parsley. We're going to have olive oil, a little bit of white miso, and I've roasted some walnuts here, and I'm going to mix those in. Walnuts, some olive oil, and some white miso. gives it a little bit of the cheesy taste that pesto often has. We don't use cheese. Nuts as well.
How about brewer's yeast? Would you use that? Do you like
What's-
that? Are you familiar with brewer's yeast?
Brewer's yeast.
Yeah, nutritional yeast. It could be nice.
Yeah, you could do if you like it. I think the only thing some people have got problems with the digestion, and brewer's yeast is not so recommended for that, is it?
Maybe not then.
But it's like, and you could, you know, the bouillon, this bouillon stocks, you could use that.
Bouillon. Hmm.
Can you get miso? Get that?
Sure, sure.
Oh, wow.
What do you think? We're primitive?
No,
Of course.
not at all. I don't know, actually. I've never been to it.
Well, it's time you come.
Okay, I don't think you can get in, can you? I think
No, right now you have to be a citizen. No tourists.
you
That'll
can't,
change.
can't go on holiday. We're just coming out of lockdown here, so
Oh, that's good.
shops are opening, schools
That's
are,
good.
I think universities are going to be opening soon. And that's when we can open the school. So how am I doing for time? You know the time? You know the time to be at?
The time, you've got 2 minutes officially, and if you go over a little, it's okay.
Oh my goodness, I haven't even done the pudding yet.
We got time.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
We're all relaxed,
was,
calm.
was that an hour? No, it was 40 minutes, wasn't it?
45, yeah.
Okay. And some raw garlic.
Ooh.
I don't know if you like garlic. Where's my cloth one? Yeah. It's good to wipe your board in between the different flavours, even though they're going to be mixed in the end. Just gives it a clarity. I don't know if my Japanese friend is watching, Moriko, but she complains if people don't do that. People don't wipe the board in between.
If someone doesn't want raw tofu, how could you cook the tofu? No, sorry, garlic, not tofu, garlic.
Oh, garlic. Just
Yeah.
leave it out. It doesn't
Oh,
matter.
just don't use it. You could saute it up or something.
Oh yeah, you mean if they prefer it cooked? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could have it. You could just lightly fry it or boil it. And you know, they could use other flavorings as well. Instead of garlic, you could use some chopped onion. You could use the sun-dried tomatoes. You could use those. If you've got garlic press, you can use that. Okay, it's done. So that's the pesto, just about ready.
Well, I'm going to make that. That looks good.
It's funny because you can blend it, but to be honest, I don't like it blended. I prefer it a bit more of a texture. The Italians do it more this way, you know, traditionally, because people didn't have blenders in those days. And I prefer it like this. So pesto goes there. Okay, soup's ready. I just need to blend it, and we're going to grate some ginger. That's for the soup. And the only thing I need to do really now is the pudding. So I made some yesterday to show you what it looks like when it's ready.
Oh, nice.
Because you're not going to see it ready from what I'm doing, because it takes time to set.
This is the dessert. And I'll be sending out these recipes to everybody in an email next week.
So this is tangerine juice. Actually, it's mandarin. So put 2 cups. You need a cup like that for each person. And then a spoon of agar. These are agar flakes. If you get the powder.
No, we get the flakes. Well, yeah, someone else might, right?
If you get the powder, it's more concentrated, so you use less, probably a teaspoon. But for the flakes, you use a spoon like this. And just sprinkle it over the top. And then whisk it in. Fire on. I let it sit for usually let it sit for about 5 minutes before I put it on the heat, so that the agar can kind of soak up into the juice. And again, where's this? A pinch of salt. Bring out the sweet. So we'll just let that come to a boil. Canton's really good, especially in the summer. If you feel the heat hold you down. I can't eat it in the middle of winter because it makes me feel so cold. But actually I can if I put something like tahini in with it, then I can. Because the fat from the tahini warms it up a bit. Okay. Okay, so we're just waiting for that to boil. We could blend the soup now. So I'm just going back to the soup for a minute. Actually, I'm going to show you what the polenta looks like. Can you see the polenta? Gorgeous yellow colour.
Nice.
You just put that into a dish.
Do you have to wet the dish? No.
Not really. You can do it if you want it to not stick, because it might stick a bit. Yeah. Maybe you need a ladle. There's a ladle. Do you need a ladle? Or you have one? So ginger. I'm going to take off the skin on the ginger. And we're just going to have the juice from the ginger. So I grate it and then squeeze it into the soup. Some people don't really like pumpkin taste. If you put some ginger, they enjoy it. I don't know if you've met many people that don't like pumpkin, but a lot of children don't like it. I've found. Unless you put another flavour in, a bit of pepper or a bit of ginger, or a bit of chili even. Okay, so I'm going to squeeze that into the soup, and then I'm going to add somebody to blend it, I think. Okay. Did you see that? Okay. So okay, the juice is boiling now. I'm just going to turn that down a minute. Wrong one. And you need to put a lid then, otherwise it will evaporate. Monica's blending the soup.
Do you have a dressing for the salad?
I'm just going to put a little bit of, because we're going to have this.
Mm, mm-hmm.
I don't want to put too much flavour in there besides, but the pesto's
The
got,
tofu cheese.
and the pesto's got a lot of, it's got oil and it's quite a lot of flavour in there. But you can sprinkle a bit of vinegar on it like this if you like. So I'm going to put a little bit of rice syrup into the canton, just to give it, make sure it's sweet. That's basically ready. You can put it into a dish, or you can put it ready into your what you're going to serve the jelly in. But just let it rest for a minute, otherwise it might crack the glass. So we turn that off. So now I'm going to make what we call almond snow.
Almond snow.
And all it is, it's very quick, is almonds, ground almonds, which we can buy ready-made here. I don't know if you can. And some apple puree. Just enough to make it into like a cream. I mean, you could use almond milk, you could use, we can buy all kinds of creams now, oat cream, rice cream. But to be quite honest, I don't want to use the milks too much. Once I open a carton of those milk, I can't stop drinking it. So. And I don't think they're that great for your lungs, those milks. So there's one that's ready, so you don't have to wait for that to set, because we're just letting that cool. I'll just put some in a glass now so you can see it in the glass. And I decorate it with some slices of orange and some mint. And then I just put some of the almond cream on top. That's your pudding.
Very nice.
And there's the soup blended, ready to go. And that's, oh, garnish for the soup. We're going to use nori. I'm going to show you a bit of the nori. I'll just put it in here. So this is a sheet of nori that I've just cut into strips. And there you go. So that's all the menu done.
Well
And,
done.
Sorry if we've gone a bit over time. Not too much though. Any questions come through, Gina?
No, pretty much we've got it covered here. Applesauce was in the almond topping, right?
Did I put the ginger juice in?
Yes, you did.
Yes, you did. Well, fantastic job. Well done. And well done to the crew. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So
All
the,
right, beautiful.
the next cooking is at it's 4 o'clock, is it, Gina? English time?
Well, we have, in Israel, it's almost 4 o'clock and the next cooking is now. The whole day is cooking class. We have 6 cooking classes today. Maria, you were a champion. You did so nicely.
How's Sheldon?
Oh, thank you. Much better. He's getting better and better. Yeah, thank goodness.
Broke his hip, yeah?
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah. Well, thank you again. I'm just going to thank you and
Thank you,
give
Gina.
my great appreciation.